So Adam, Kira, Xander, Tori, and Bridge are now here, summoned by the Sentinel Knight to assist since the Rangers don't have their powers. Where do I even begin with this idea? So, the Sentinel Knight is weakened to the point where teleporting people is difficult for him, but he can summon a Ranger from the future and restore the powers of 3, possibly 4, we'll get to that in a second, Rangers who had permanently lost theirs. And that was an easier plan than just summoning, say, the Space Rangers, who all still have their powers, or the various Rangers who do still have their powers, as established in Forever Red. But whatever on that point. Well, possibly even less. The Mystic Force Rangers lost their powers briefly in their finale, but it wasn't entirely clear if they had lost them permanently and were only getting them back because of the magical bonds of poorly established friendship between magic and normal human communities. Anyway, you'll notice that Bridge is a Red Ranger now.
Or Bridge.
I like Bridge, but in all honesty, sir, he's not a leader.
I see.
Actually, Bridge has a more logical explanation.
Yeah. Well, long story short, our mentor, who's a dog, got promoted to head of SPD, which used to be run by a bird, but he retired and went down to Miami, and then Sky got promoted, and I got promoted, and that's why I'm the Red Ranger. Or rather, will be.
Makes sense to me.
Shut up, Dax. Now then, Adam is the big one here for re-established powers. However, let's think back. In Forever Red, Jason had his original Mighty Morphin era morpher, and during In Space, Adam was able to temporarily morph with the damaged morpher. It's been at least 9 years since that season, more than enough time to get the morpher repaired. Mind you, the Sentinel Knight could have just fixed it, but given the past we've seen with Adam and his powers, I like my explanation more. Hell, it even makes more sense considering later on we see Adam assisting Hartford in the attempt to repair the morphing grid. Johnny Young Bosch himself has said the backstory he crafted for what Adam was doing in the intermediate time was basically globetrotting, fighting crime as a secret agent or the like, which certainly works better than, "I was running a dojo," which is what he actually says in the episode. So yeah, 5 Rangers from various seasons here for the 15th anniversary.
And we're all happy to help. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
They repeat that like 3 times in the episodes, and it sounds really damned forced every time they do it after this bit. But yay! Past Rangers are here!
That's why I've chosen Adam, Bridge, Xander, Tori, and Kira to replace you as the new team of Power Rangers.
Man, everybody's a dick in this season. So yeah, the Rangers now get to hang around and play pool while the others do their thing.
Seems like you're all getting along just fine.
Yeah, I think we make a pretty good team, right, guys?
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. I'm sure you'll be back to action in no time.
Yeah, we're just pinch hitting for you till you get your powers back.
You mean if we get our powers back?
Come on, Rangers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interaction between the teams. We don't see them together again until past the halfway point of Part 2. That's 14 minutes away, not counting credits and whatnot, which doesn't seem like that long a time, but remember that Power Rangers episodes are roughly 21 minutes long. For this team-up episode, the 2 Ranger teams spend almost the full length of an episode not together or teaming up. In fact, considering the veteran Rangers don't appear until about 15 minutes into the first part, there is more than an entire single episode worth of time where the 2 teams are not interacting or working together. Brilliant! Hartford explains to Adam that he's reinforced the morphing grid so Thrax can't cut off their powers as well, but he lacks the technology to repair the grid, because that makes sense when you say you can reinforce it. Adam, however, says he knows who to call for the technology. After Thrax promises to deal with the Rangers using a monster, the Overdrive team decides to talk to Hartford.
But now that you've got a new team, you just don't need us anymore.
Of course I need you. Our mission isn't over yet.
Our mission was to be Power Rangers. We dropped everything for that.
I see.
It's just that we feel that you have everything handled here. We talked about it. And we'd like to go back to our normal lives.
Mac? You feel this way too?
I'm not going anywhere, Dad, but I don't think there's much I can do to help.
You're sure this is what you want? Yes, we are. We've decided to leave Operation Overdrive.
Wow. Thanks, assholes. You know, you've still got your civilian powers. You could probably still fight alongside the team, you guys dealing with the foot soldiers while they dealt with the bigger threats that required them being morphed. Anyway, the Evil Alliance is pretty pissed off about the new Rangers.
Speaking of Thrax, where is he?
My troops are keeping an eye on the new Rangers. But maybe they should be keeping an eye on Thrax.
Doesn't amount to anything! Anyway, Adam brings the team to a warehouse in Angel Grove, looking for a specific box, but are ambushed by Chillers, Florius's foot soldiers. I haven't bothered to name them until now because, well, there's nothing really all that interesting to say about them this season.
Time for Plan Xander. G'day. Name's Xander. Let's just talk this one over.
And this, Xander, is why you need to modify Plan Xander into simply being summon lots of vines and tree roots from the ground around a guy. That plan worked pretty well. And so they fight, using both martial arts and civilian powers, and Bridge, the hell are you doing? But anyway, the thing I really appreciate about this fight is the use of the old theme songs. They honestly beat out Overdrive's theme and regular music by a landslide. Well, except for a notable absence. No Mighty Morphin theme. I've heard that they just didn't have the rights to use the old music, but that makes me tilt my head. They had the rights to everything else. Reruns, costume designs, story elements, old footage, but not the song? Hell, they used the song during Legacy of Power. And you can't just say, well, it was part of the stock footage. No. They edited together clips with different audio and had to mix the music into it. If it honestly was just a rights issue, fine, whatever. It's disappointing, but you can get past that. It's just such a bizarre arrangement, though. Anyway, they find the box Adam was looking for, which naturally has a big old Power Rangers lightning bolt on it. That looks like it was drawn by someone who only vaguely remembered what it looked like. Mac and the Sentinel Knight talk, Mac pretty much saying that being a Power Ranger is just about the powers because he's an idiot, but the Sentinel Knight tries to encourage him. They also discuss how Thrax plans to destroy the Knight with a legendary sword called Excelsior. And what are the other Rangers up to? Well, they're back to their normal lives, doing what they did before, but they all feel very unfulfilled. And Dax is just annoying, which probably explains why his film crew left him suspended on wires. Well, okay, Tyzon for some reason has not left the planet and is instead just walking in a field. Probably just got lost. After seeing Rose about getting more info on the Excelsior sword, Mac goes to retrieve it so Thrax can't use it against the Sentinel Knight. Unfortunately, Thrax was evidently following Mac, and thus he's led him right to the sword. Because he just knew that he'd be looking for it, I guess. It's almost like this was really contrived. The other Rangers show up to help Mac, having been summoned by Rose. So, what was it that Adam got from Angel Grove?
Where am I?
Oh, good God.
The Rangers are in big trouble.
Say no more. When it comes to helping the Power Rangers, I'm your butt.
Again! Would it have been so damn hard to call Richard Horvitz or Wendy Lee, or hell, even Katerina Luciani with the faux street voice and have one of them voice Alpha? This voice grates on my brain every single time I hear it. The distortion makes it scratchy enough, but it's so forced to make it high-pitched, so unconvincing, and is only recognizable as Alpha because they add the ay stuff. Also, what the hell was Alpha just doing in a box in Angel Grove? Shouldn't he be on Miranoi? Or with Andros in the Astro Megaship Mark II? Ugh! Anyway, they send Alpha into the morphing grid itself to try to repair it, because they can do that, I guess.
What would Zordon do?
Shut up, Dax! I mean Alpha! Anyway, Thrax rants about his parents succumbed to goodness, so chances are he was protected from or out of range of the Z-Wave when that hit, and swears to restore their evil legacy by destroying the Sentinel Knight. Unfortunately for him, he can't pull the sword from the statue and it repels him.
You obviously don't know the whole legend. Excelsior belongs to the warrior goddess. Only she can release the sword.
Give me that sword! Fine! If I can't have the sword, then I'll trash your entire planet!
I could easily kill you all right now, but I won't because I'm an idiot. Bye! The other Rangers try to pull the sword free from the statue, but all fail. And then they give up. Yeah.
I bet if we were still Rangers, the goddess would give us the sword.
No doubt.
But then Mac remembers the Sentinel Knight telling him to keep fighting, says he isn't leaving without the sword, and they all join in, and the warrior goddess gives it to them with some of the worst acting of the season, which is saying something when Dax is a regular character.
I am the warrior goddess. The unity of your friendship and the conviction in your hearts has convinced me that you are worthy. Excelsior is yours now.
Okay, if I haven't made it clear by now, allow me to do so. I hate this episode! And a big part of why I hate it is the Overdrive team. In previous seasons, when the Rangers lose their powers or are put in great peril, they don't give a rat's ass. They'll keep on fighting, no matter the cost.
Powers or not, I just can't stand by and watch my friends be destroyed. Kimberly can't hold out much longer on her own.
But Tommy, it's much too dangerous.
I don't care. I'm a Power Ranger till the end.
Rangers, I may still be able to teleport you to safety.
We're gonna stay with you, Alpha.
Listen, we still have some time. We're not beaten yet.
Even if we're not Rangers still, don't you think? We should check it out.
I have no idea what the future holds. I know people are in trouble now.
We may not be Power Rangers anymore, and our Waltor's may be gone, but their spirits still live inside us!
What can you do to me without your powers?
We may not be Power Rangers, but we still have power.
Hey, where are you going? You don't stand a chance without your powers.
That wouldn't stop Dr. O, and it's not gonna stop us either.
What happens if it gets worse once we're inside?
Then it gets worse.
But this team of privileged dorks, as soon as they lose their powers, do they leap at an emergency to try to help? Do they run off to try to do altruistic things in spite of their lost powers? No! They return to their previous lives, and the emotions they display don't come off like they want to resume their ranger duties out of a desire to battle against evil, but rather, their lives are boring! Hell, Will is doing a service, trying to improve museum security systems, and even he doesn't find the work fulfilling. Season after season, we have seen Rangers not giving a damn if they have their powers or not. They'll fight evil regardless of that. The true measure of being a Power Ranger isn't the powers. The powers are just a tool to use to do what's right. It's the classic superhero situation. A truly great hero is one who's willing to do the right thing even if they don't have anything that makes them special. That's why Bulk and Skull's character development was so damn important. But not these jackasses. They lose their powers, and suddenly they get the right to whine and moan about it. And don't give me any crap about how they learn to fight even without those powers. They don't. They pull a sword from a statue. That's the extent of them fighting the good fight. Hell, it takes Mac to even get them to do that. The rest were willing to give up right away. Once a Ranger is a terrible team-up episode. It makes the Overdrive team look like a bunch of self-centered, unlikable jerks with no real fighting prowess who give up at the drop of a hat. The cardinal sin of a team-up episode is making one team look better than the other instead of being equals. The past Rangers come off so much better than them. It makes me want to see a Ranger season dedicated to those characters. Show me a season where Adam leads a bunch of veteran Rangers who kick ass. That is awesome. And as I said earlier, it barely qualifies as a team up. They're not even in the same room together most of the time. So, the old Rangers are fighting Thrax's monster with the Zords. Then Mac comes running up holding Excelsior. And then Mac runs up and slices the monster, unmorphed, I repeat, Mac jumps into the air, unmorphed, and slices a giant monster in half. That is just dumb! You could say it's the sword that's doing it, but it's just so ludicrous and awful looking that I find myself wishing for Cole's super motorcycle from Forever Red. If it's not the sword doing this, then this is the worst of the civilian powers nonsense. If he's that damn strong, then why the hell does he even bother morphing? How the hell was he having so much difficulty before? See, here's the thing. Carter Grayson running up at two giant monsters with only his guns to protect him, that is badass because it shows that he has no fear. He knows he'll get stomped, but he doesn't care. That is bravery. Mac running up and beating up a giant monster on his own and unmorphed isn't badass. It's turning on the character's God mode. Mac gives the sword over to the Sentinel Knight, which somehow restores him from what, I still don't know, and makes him corporeal again. In the next episode, we even learn he transforms from the sword into his main body. Okay, that kind of insanity I can get behind in Power Rangers. The Overdrive Rangers apologize to Hartford for quitting and say they want to join back up again. So yeah, Rose, I'm sure the school you were teaching at is fine with you just dropping everything, coming back, and then dropping everything again. Same for Dax and Ronnie and their jobs. Will is at least a freelance consultant with his thievery. Alpha emerges from the morphing grid having finished the repairs. The Overdrive team can morph again. Yay! They didn't have to work to earn it or anything. Makes it easy! Thrax gathers his forces in a quarry, of course, for a final attack against the Rangers, who all show up to confront them.
Ready! Ready! It's morphin' time!
Ninja Storm! Ranger Form! Dino Thunder! Power up!
SPD, emergency! Magical source! Mystic force!
Once a Ranger is a microcosm of everything that is wrong with Operation Overdrive. The writing is lazy, poorly thought out, and doesn't make any sense when you think about it for even a second. The action scenes are either par for the course or downright boring with all the Kalash explosions. The music is the same repetitive, fast-paced action rock in every scene. Even the quiet scenes somehow have music that is far too fast-paced that completely ruins the mood, or the editing is too fast, or the dialogue spoken too quickly. Seeing the other Rangers just reminds you of far better seasons you could be watching right now instead of this. The pacing is horrendous! Everything is just too damn fast! Slow the hell down! You are giving the children heart attacks! Adam has a revised morphing sequence, which it's okay for what it's supposed to be. I mean, yeah, it's basically just him against a green screen and whatnot, but it looks good. And as for an anniversary episode, it was nice to have representatives from a lot of different seasons, but it favored the Disney side of things. And I do get that. This episode required mostly original footage given the premise. The Sentai equivalent episode, Bokenger vs. Super Sentai, had a lot of different choices for their team up. And that is expensive for a show like Power Rangers. Plus, he had to fly in Johnny Young Bosch for his role. But it seems to me like he could have saved the budget a lot by simply cutting some of the action bits and had more character development and interaction between the casts. I wouldn't have even minded the Rangers calling it quits after getting their asses kicked by Camdor and Mig, making them think they truly are useless, but then have the Elder Rangers impart some wisdom onto them, share their experiences as Rangers, their development and changes, actually have some character development. Or, you know, just make up a bullcrap legend about a nameless warrior goddess and a sword named after Stan Lee's catchphrase and have them pull the sword and thus character development, I guess. But hey, they've got fan service for the 15th anniversary though, right? Well, yeah, sort of. See, Forever Red showed immense respect for the history of the Power Rangers and the people who filled out the suits. We got to see 9 past Rangers being awesome while showing that the 10th and latest was just as worthy to stand alongside those heroes. That episode dug out not only fan service for longtime viewers, but also resolution to previously unanswered questions. What had happened to Serpentera? Did Bulk and Skull ever reunite? What were some of the Rangers up to after all evil had been defeated? And above all else, it was an enjoyable episode in its own right. An admittedly quick but well-paced, simple mission to stop the forces of evil from getting their hands on a terrible weapon. Once a Ranger, by contrast, has fan service, but executed extremely poorly. The Rangers go to Angel Grove! Or rather, a single warehouse in Angel Grove, and we never see anything else of the town. The Rangers get Alpha, who was boxed up for unknown reasons and left to rot in said warehouse, plus has a horrifyingly annoying new voice. Adam says "more phenomenal," a phrase that he had never uttered before during the Mighty Morphin days. 5 past Rangers from different seasons unite! Yeah, and they show why the current team is a bunch of assholes. The son of Rita and Lord Zed shows up! But not Rita or Zed themselves, just the lame kid they produced. If you want to see the perfect archetype for a team-up episode, I say look to Reinforcements from the Future. Both teams working together, advancing the story and characters of the previous team while doing the same for the new team. Exciting action, perfectly paced, and well written. If you want to see the perfect archetype of how not to do a team-up episode, look to Once a Ranger. And by the way, I think it speaks volumes, no pun intended, about how much better a theme song SPD had in comparison to the Overdrive theme, considering that after Bridge and Mac defeat Flurious, the SPD theme is still going on over the Mercury Rangers fight, and even a little bit into Adam versus Thrax. The Sentinel Knight even gets into the fray.
I wish I had the sword Excelsior, then I would use its power to destroy you forever!
Shut up, Thrax. And so Thrax is defeated and presumably destroyed.
Remind me never to have kids!
The evil factions withdraw, deciding to end their alliance since they weren't really any better off together than apart. Tori leaves her card with the Overdrive Rangers, saying to get in touch if they ever need help. Trust me, Tori, if this episode was any indication, they'll need it. Also, she makes custom surfboards now.
Okay, guys, once more for old time's sake.
Go, go, Power Rangers!
Ha ha ha, that's the song they couldn't use.